Oscar, sono Agatha.
Che bello l'amore con le tonine.
Detto niente, vero? No? Il mondo non è come pensi tu.
Si può fare tutto, Oscar.
La gravità è volato via.
Imagine discovering a plot hole so massive it collapses the man without gravity entire universe. Let's dissect the scene that broke the internet. The movie opens with a pregnant woman named Natalia experiencing labor pains. Her mother, Alina, is by her side and quickly takes her to the hospital. Unfortunately, it's late at night and most of the doctors are unavailable. A nurse steps in to assist Natalia, who soon gives birth. But the delivery shocks everyone in the room. The newborn begins to float in the air. Natalia, astonished, declares that an angel baby has been born into their family. Alina, wise and experienced, realizes this child is far from ordinary. The baby seems unaffected by gravity, concerned for his safety and wary of public attention. They quickly leave the hospital despite the nurse's insistence that it's too soon for discharge. Back at home, Alina asks Natalia if she remembers anything about the child's guardian, but Natalia has no recollection. Alina warns her that the baby's condition must remain a secret, or they could face serious trouble. They name the baby Oscar, recognizing he is truly unique, that raising Oscar proves difficult. He has a tendency to float up and stick to the ceiling if left alone. His grandmother crafts special straps to keep him grounded and even pads the ceiling to prevent injury. They fear that if Oscar were to go outside, he could float away into the sky. So, they care for him cautiously and keep him inside at all times. As Oscar grows, he remains indoors, watching Superman cartoons and fantasizing about being a superhero. He often asks Natalia why he isn't allowed outside, but she avoids the question. Longingly, he watches neighborhood kids through the window, wishing he could go to school and play freely. One day, overwhelmed by the confinement, Oscar attempts to escape through the window. His grandmother catches him and becomes furious, sealing all the windows and declaring he will be homeschooled. Natalia, frustrated, argues with her mother, insisting that Oscar can't live in isolation forever. She then makes a jacket for Oscar with 2 stones in the pockets to weigh him down and secretly takes him outside. While shopping, Oscar bumps into a girl named Agata, causing her groceries to spill. Angry, she hands him 2 water bottles and says it's his punishment to carry them to her house. Reluctantly, Oscar agrees and follows her without telling his mother. Carrying the bottles and weighted by the stones, Oscar feels heavier than usual. Wanting to lighten the load, he drops the stones. At Agata's house, she demands the return of the water bottles, but Oscar hesitates. He knows he'll float away without the weight. Ignorant of the situation, Agata grabs the bottles anyway, and Oscar immediately begins to float. Thankfully, the area is enclosed, so he doesn't ascend too far. Agata, stunned, rushes inside and returns with a pink bag filled with stones. The plan works. Oscar descends safely, and they become close friends. Oscar makes her promise to keep his secret. Meanwhile, Natalia and Alina panic when they discover Oscar is missing. They find the dropped stones and assume he has floated away. Later, Oscar returns with Agata's bag and assures his mother that he kept his secret, though he lies to hide the truth. Over time, Oscar and Agata continue to meet secretly. Eventually, Natalia learns Agata knows the truth and forbids Oscar from seeing her. Agata continues to visit, but Natalia turns her away. Neighbors begin to suspect that Oscar is being mistreated because he never goes to school. Concerned, they report it to the police. The next day, the authorities warn Natalia and Alina that Oscar must be sent to school. Under pressure, Natalia complies and tearfully accompanies him. Realizing Oscar can never live a normal life, she decides to move to a remote area with him. Years pass. Oscar grows older, his grandmother dies, and his mother ages. He still treasures the pink bag Agata gave him and lives in secrecy, growing increasingly frustrated by his hidden life. That Oscar dreams of being famous like Superman. He imagines people writing books about him, but his mother fears public exposure and refuses to support the idea. One day, Oscar leaves the house without telling her and enters a talent show where people demonstrate their special abilities. His gravity-defying act becomes the highlight of the event. His mother watches in despair as Oscar gains public attention. The next day, Oscar is approached by a talent agent named David, who promises to make him famous. Oscar signs a contract and moves into a luxurious house. He starts performing at large events and quickly becomes a sensation, known as the man without gravity. Despite the fame and money, Oscar feels empty. His dream of becoming a superhero has turned into a circus act. He's being used for entertainment, not admired for who he truly is. As media attention grows, documentaries begin to criticize his mother and grandmother, which deeply upsets Oscar. In one final performance, dressed as an angel, Oscar breaks down. He yells that he's not an angel and lashes out at the audience. He decides to quit and tells his agent he wants to disappear. He asks him to announce that the man without gravity is dead. Oscar says goodbye to his mother and leaves to start a new life. The public is told he has vanished or floated away. Journalists repeatedly visit Natalia, but she never reveals anything. Eventually, she passes away. Oscar, however, is still alive, hiding his identity. He grows a long beard and uses a wheelchair to disguise himself. He works as a receptionist in a hotel and keeps a low-profile. One day, he crosses paths with Agata, who recognizes him by the pink bag he still carries. Though happy to reunite, Oscar is saddened by what Agata has become, someone driven solely by money, surrounded by shallow relationships. He tries to share his feelings, but she brushes him off. It's clear he still loves her, that eventually, they reconcile and rediscover their bond. The story concludes as they return to their childhood home, finally finding peace and happiness together. Agree? Disagree? Let's start a comment civil war. And if you're obsessed with hidden movie secrets, smash that bell. Our next video might ruin your childhood. Thanks for watching.